What's cracking, Hot House operatives? It's your baby mama's favorite cousin T-Tall. And today I wanted to take a look at a subject that is passed around the manosphere a great deal, and that is the subject of cold approach versus choosing signals. Now, you already know where I stand on this particular topic. Here in the House of Technicians, we prefer seduction as the method of getting what we want. Now, this is not to say that there's an issue with cold approach or an issue with choosing signals. And as a matter of fact, those are two capable methods of one displaying the basics of game or a person's basic knowledge of game, and two allowing the target to approach you or to indicate an interest so that you can then display the basic components of your level of game. But as you know, in the Hot House, we like to flow straight from the seduction scriptures. So take your copy out and turn to the first page in the book. Here we have the definition of seduction as according to the author. Seduction is the presentation and delivery of transmuted energy in order to achieve a desired result. Gentlemen, the graphic on your screen right now is displaying the differences in the methods and usage of these various techniques. And first, let's look at cold approach. Now, cold approach is active, and it can be said that men like to use cold approach because it makes them feel like a man. You're active. You're the one that's pursuing the target. Choosing signals is more passive, and it can be said that a guy uses this because she or the target says that he can. She's allowing him to approach. Seduction is actually holistic. This is because it's my plan. So it requires a higher level of skill. Cold approach and choosing signals are fine. However, they are one-dimensional. Gentlemen, think about this. Have you ever been in a situation where it's you and your friends, you and your guys, you and your coworkers, or whatever? You're just having a conversation, or you're looking at a magazine, or you're looking at a television program, and you see a woman. She is gorgeous. She is beautiful. She's a dime. She's all that. And one of your friends said, "Well, what would you do? What would you do if she was right here in front of you?" And you just paused because in your mind, in your heart of hearts, in your soul, you thought to yourself, "Damn, she's out of my league." That is the concept when comparing cold approach and choosing signals to the skill sets of seduction. Not only is seduction in a different league than choosing signals and cold approach, seduction is in an entirely different dimension than those particular methods of not only arousing and attracting, but acquiring desirable women. Let's go deeper. The skill sets of seduction not only provide the what and how, but also the why you desire to acquire a certain woman. You see, look at this graphic that I'm putting up right now. This is how women view men who use cold approach and or allow the choosing signals from a woman. Most women view the average man as one-dimensional in his desire to acquire them, and that dimension is the physical. Most women believe or feel that the average man is only approaching her because he physically desires her. We'll get to that later. We'll get deeper on that a little later. The average woman, in contrast, her desire to acquire is based on a two-dimensional framework. Those two dimensions are how physically arousing a man is to her, and what he has the potential to do for her emotionally. And so if she's not feeling a guy, literally, if she doesn't feel a guy, she will not allow him to pursue, or she will not put out the choosing signals. Now that's the average woman. The higher status woman, aka the women who most guys would say, oh, she's out of my league, who, you know, we broken down as the queen bee or the top mistress, their desire to acquire sits on a three-dimensional framework. Those three dimensions are as follows. First, the social dimension. What does this guy have the potential to do for me or to take away from my social standing or my social status or my social currency? Second, the emotional. Again, how does he make me feel? What does he have the potential to do for me or to remove from me emotionally? And third is the physical, of course. What does he have the potential to do for me physically? And these are the three-dimensional elements that a higher status woman filters a potential guy that she desires to acquire through in order to allow him to approach or to put out there the quote-unquote choosing signals for a guy. Now, I know that these concepts and the explanations right here may go over some guys' heads, and I understand. That's because most men, most dating coaches, most PUAs or relationship gurus don't even have the language to articulate these dimensions of approach, let alone how to begin to acquire them. So let me give you a practical example of how these apply. You see, most women mentally and even socially with their social IQ and their emotional IQ are out of most guys' leagues. Most women get pissed when they discover that their man cheated because she knows that he didn't consider the social implications, the situational pitfalls, and the long-term ramifications of the woman that he chose to cheat with. He mostly just saw a nice ass, nice pair of tits, or even some DSLs, and started pursuing like a bull in a china shop. Look at the countless line of powerful men who got taken down by women who he saw one-dimensionally. Look at the former Boeing CEO who got removed from his position because he carried on an affair with his secretary. Look at former President Bill Clinton. Look at former President JFK. There's no reason why women who did not come even close to the level of power that these men wielded should have been the ones that diminished their power. Look at Anthony Weiner, right? The list goes on and on about the men who had a significant amount of power and made a choice to pursue a woman from just one dimension of consideration. But think about that in a broader context, gentlemen. Most women have a higher social IQ than the men that they find themselves with. They also have a higher emotional IQ. What does that translate into? The majority of women go through multiple relationships over the course of their lives, having maintained an extramarital and extra relationship affair. Most women cheat, meaning they get with men who are not a part of their committed relationship, and it goes completely undetected throughout the course of the relationships that they maintain. So basically, in a nutshell, women have the ability to cheat way better than men have the ability to cheat, because even the average woman employs an additional dimension through the filtering process when she determines to pursue a guy or to allow a guy to pursue her, let alone the higher status women employing three-dimensional elements when filtering a potential guy that she desires to acquire. So yes, When a guy says, "Oh, this woman's out of his league," yeah, she is out of your league. She will run circles around you. This is also why the concept of the female group hierarchy is so powerful, because average women who would rank lower in the hierarchy understand that the more sophisticated women are the ones who they look up to. The queen bee and the top mistress, they have those positions because they have the social IQ to navigate multiple landscapes, both socially and emotionally. And the average women who fall into those ranks understand that, and they gladly fall in line within that hierarchy. That's another discussion for another day. But when we talk about the type of man that even the higher status women have to bow down to, enter the seducer and the sage. Gentlemen, this is why seduction is on an entirely different frequency than simply cold approach and choosy signals. The men who employ the skill sets of seduction, they don't employ just one-dimensional element when filtering women who they desire to acquire. They don't just use two. They don't even use three-dimensional elements. Gentlemen, seducers and sages employ five-dimensional elements when observing a scene involving a woman that they desire to acquire. Let's get into those five right now.